This morning, a very intriguing possible meeting between the Justice Department Inspector General Michael Horowitz and Democrats on the House Oversight and Judiciary Committees. Horowitz has been investigating what went on during the 2016 election, both in the Hillary Clinton email investigation and the early stages of the Russia investigation. CNN has learned that FBI Director Christopher Wray hinted to staff in a memo that the investigation played a role in Deputy Director Andrew McCabe's sudden departure. Joining me now is Congressman Ted Deutch. He's a Democrat from Florida who is on the House Judiciary Committee. Greetings, Congressman. Thanks so much for being with us. There's a little bit of confusion about whether, in fact, Democrats will or will not meet with the Inspector General today. Is this meeting going to happen?
Well, there is going to be a meeting with the Inspector General because the Inspector General wanted to have it when he learned that the first meeting was a Republican-only meeting. But, John, that just shouldn't be surprising because it's consistent with the way this entire effort has gone on the part of Republicans in the House to distract and attack our institutions and sow discord. That's what we've seen. And yesterday, John, there's this new approach where they've decided that they're going to selectively release intelligence. That's the kind of thing that the Russians do. And here it came on the same day that the president decided not to impose sanctions on Russia, and in the midst of an investigation into Russia's attack on our elections. It's very, very troubling.
All right. You just said a whole lot right there all at once. Let's try to piece it together just a little bit.
Sure.
First, on the meeting with the Inspector General, Christopher Wray, the FBI Director, and I don't believe you're accounting the FBI Director in that partisan bucket that you just included right there. The FBI Director hinted to his staff that the Inspector General's report may be a reason why he may have applied pressure to have Andy McCabe leave. Do you have any information about what's in that report? Do you have any information that McCabe may have acted in a way that was improper during the investigations in 2016?
No, I don't have any information, and certainly we're looking forward to having the meeting with the Inspector General. It's an important meeting to have. We've spent, however, the entire day today, if you think about the distraction here, we've spent this entire day talking about the decision of the Republicans on the Intel Committee to selectively release this classified information when we were talking about the fact that the President of the United States ordered the special counsel to be fired back in June. I think that my Republican colleagues ought to be worried about that. We should all be worried about that and the potential constitutional crisis that it could lead to.
We did talk about the fact that the president, in our reporting, is saying he wanted the special counsel fired. It did not happen. The special counsel was not fired, so the crisis you're talking about did not happen, and he says now he has no intention of firing the special prosecutor. I understand your argument, though. On the memo, have you read the Republican memo?
I haven't read the memo. The Republicans authorized members last night to be able to review it, but we've all been talking about the memo. We know that this is the decision to selectively disclose classified information without the benefit of the Democratic analysis, and that's what we'd like to see and the American people should see.
Okay, so if they say the Democratic analysis, if a deal were reached where they said, hey, let's release the Democratic analysis at the same time, would you be okay with that?
I think that what we ought to do, and this is what's so troubling about this, John, is we ought to pay heed to law enforcement and the FBI. And when the Department of Justice expresses grave concern and the FBI asks for the ability to review this memo because their fear of possibly releasing sources and methods, there's no explanation about the rush to disclose this other than an attempt to distract and for purely partisan political gain. The Republicans on that committee should be worried first and foremost about protecting the investigation into Russia's attack on America, and instead their focus is to protect the president with the support of the Russian bots to go ahead and publicize it.
A couple things. Number one, Christopher Wray, the FBI director, ultimately did look at the memo. He has looked at the memo. The Democratic chair of the Intelligence Committee, Adam Schiff, says that Christopher Wray then wanted to talk to the whole committee. That was not permitted, according to Adam Schiff. And I just also want to make clear the scenario that I offered, the Democratic memo released at the same time, apparently isn't happening. The Republicans don't want that to come out. But just to make the Republican case here, they say sure, they care about the Russia investigation, but in their view, this memo raises questions about whether that investigation was fair at the beginning.
Well, let's take a moment when you suggest that perhaps this investigation isn't fair. Are they alleging that it's unfair that the highest levels of the Trump campaign and Trump's former national security advisor have all been either indicted or have taken guilty pleas? Or is that unfair? Are they suggesting it's unfair to have uncovered this meeting at Trump Tower between the president's son, Jared Kushner, and agents of the Russian military? I mean, please, the real issue here is not to call into question the fairness. It's to look at the facts and to protect the special counsel so that he can continue and follow this through to wherever it takes him.
Congressman, we have some breaking news here. We have Speaker Ryan weighing in now on all of this. And I'm going to read you from our reporting that's just in from Dana Bash, Jake Tapper, Jim Acosta, and Phil Mattingly. Speaker Ryan was meeting with reporters. He is in favor of the public release of the Nunes memo. I don't think that's news, because without Ryan's support from the beginning, this would never be public. But he's telling House Republicans there needs to be a separation between the allegations in the memo and then the special counsel investigation in itself. He goes, I think because all of the loose political rhetoric floating around here, we need to make sure that we explain that there's a separation between these things. And then asked if he was delivering that message to his conference, some of whom have pointed to the memo as a reason to disband the probe altogether. Ryan answered yes. He's saying release it, but separate it from trying to discredit the special counsel's investigation. Is that possible?
I don't know, John. I don't know what the Speaker said over the past week or so. I don't know if the Speaker commented on the President's efforts to fire Mueller. But instead of trying to please the conspiracy theorists who have suggested, among other things, that there is a coup d'etat being waged from within the Justice Department, what the Speaker of the House should do is to stand up and say it is imperative that we protect this investigation, that we allow the special counsel to continue to do his work until the end, until we have all of the facts. And he should remind his members and the American people that really what this is about is ultimately the Russian attack on our elections and demanding accountability. It doesn't sound like, from that quote, that he did any of those things.
It is not in the version of the reporting we have, and he also said that there's no need to wait for the Democrats to release their version of the memo. Congressman Ted Deutch, I do want to note that tonight for the State of the Union, you are bringing with you Christine Levinson, the wife of Bob Levinson, who has been a hostage in Iran since 11 years ago, and I know you're working in bipartisan form to try to get him released. So we all appreciate your efforts there.
John, thanks. And at this moment when there's so much partisanship, when an American is being held, we all have to come together. That's why Christine is coming tonight, to remind us that he's still missing. When he's not home, it's something that we should all feel personally. But thank you for
Congressman.